941-956. The webinar ID is 941-9639-7094, or you can go to our website, the Cumberland School Department website, and join us through Zoom as well. So the first order of business is approval of the agenda. Item number A, compliance with Governor. Hello, please mute people on website and join us through Zoom as. All right. Approval of the agenda, compliance with the governor's executive order 20-34 dated May 15, 2020. Item number 1, discussion of vote on whether there is public access to the meeting through adequate alternate means. Mr. Chandler, there's people are on through the.
Yes.
All right. So I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Fiorello to approve.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Waters. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it 6-0. Please note for the record, Mr. Salvatore is not present at this meeting at this time. Mike, if you do see him come into the meeting, could you let me know, please?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. So item number on the agenda, report out of the executive session meeting. Item number A, report out of executive session meeting 5/21/2020. There were no votes taken tonight in executive session, and I need a motion to seal the minutes from executive session.
Motion to seal.
Motion to seal.
Motion by Mrs. Waters, second by Mr. Fiorello. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it 6-0. Next is comments from the public. If you wish to make a statement, please state your name and address for the record. And just please, you're gonna have to either say your name or something so we can recognize that I have like 8 screens here of people online. So
Hold
is anyone in the public?
I'm still working through maybe another 10 of them to unmute to get them into it to be able to speak if they do have a question.
Okay, let's wait a minute then, and once you're ready, just let me know, and then we'll ask that question again from the public.
A lot of members, a lot of people here this evening. If anybody would like, we can also ask them as we're going through it, waiting, have them enter it in the chat window if they want.
Okay.
Not hold things up.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak tonight? Any comments from the public? I have Travelucius, and then I who would like to speak. Hello, go ahead.
Let's see, the name is on there. Oh, I heard somebody.
There was a couple of people that had asked to speak tonight, and I have again, I have like 9 screens here of people. I can't see everyone at the same time. So if you'd like to speak, please speak up. State your name.
Okay.
Is anybody else in here? I have one.
Karen Y to everyone, me either. Karen Y.
Sounds like they have 2 microphones on. Let's see. Oh,
Renee Calabro, you'd like to speak?
where is she? Let's see if I can get to her first. Yep, there she is. All right, Renee should be good.
Renee, go ahead with your comment.
Hi, and as soon as you put me on, my dog started barking.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I just wanted to talk about the cuts. I know you all have to make some hard budgetary decisions. One thing that you're proposing cutting is guidance. And my name's Renee Calabro, and I'm going in my basement. I live at
Sorry.
7 Melody Lane. And
Yeah.
I'm also a teacher at community school. I've taught at community school for over 20 years. And I just want to discuss the fact that as every year goes on, myself and other teachers discuss the need for mental health among kids grows every year. And especially at this time with all the issues that children are having to face, I think cutting mental health, cutting guidance at any school right now is not the wisest decision. Like I said, we are already seeing kids year after year struggling with mental health issues, and I can't even imagine what next year is going to look like. So I just wanted that on the record. I know I am not the only educator that feels that way. So would just like you to take that into consideration.
Renee, the school
Yeah,
department,
you're a great teacher.
after the town council and the mayor present the budget, and it's voted on, then the school department has to get together and reconcile our budget. And maybe the funding may have changed between that and the state legislature. And at that point in time, the superintendent would be making recommendations to the school committee.
Right. And again, like I said, I know there are hard cuts that need to be made, but I do not think they should be made in mental health, especially at this time with everyone knowing what's going on.
All right, thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak up?
Can I speak? I can't see anybody, but this is Tara Villanova.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Something has just happened.
Well, you know better.
I need to I need to get out of that.
I don't know. I can hear people.
Oh, Tara's on.
Okay. I've actually prepared something because I have to apologize ahead of time because
We just need our little fire pit.
most likely get very emotional as I try to say what I want to say. I know that right now, none of us know what our school will look like next year. And you're doing every year,
Right.
trying to balance a budget. But I've also heard some of the ideas proposed, like an idea to cut some of our arts positions or to cut all of our arts positions. Actually, I don't know if I said that I'm the art teacher at BF Norton. So the idea to cut any arts position or all of our arts positions if we're fully virtual, I have wanted to say this. I want to say this every year. And so finally, I feel like I'm going to say it because every year, we in the arts are told that our jobs, not just our jobs, but
Hold
what
on
we
one
live and breathe every day doesn't matter. Every year, we're essentially told that we don't count and we can be cut because we're not the quote unquote core subjects. At this point in our culture, in the 21st century, that notion is ridiculous. And I had to search today because I heard Howard Gardner say this at a national art ed conference, and I wanted to get it right. But he said that most cultures, and certainly those that consider themselves to be highly civilized, do not need special arguments for including the arts in their schools. But yet again, here we are arguing for including the arts and not cutting us. It is assumed, that's my addition. Howard goes on to say, it is assumed that Chinese students will learn ink and brush painting, and that European students will be informed about the art and music of their country. The data is there, the statistics are there, the proof is there. And this is me talking now. The arts are core subjects. The arts do matter. Our subjects engage students, not just in English, like an English teacher, not just in math, but in every subject all in one place. Instead of trying to convince you, or anyone for that matter, of what the arts do for those subjects, I'd like to turn your thinking around. And again, I got this from Howard, and I'm so glad I remembered it. He said, what do those subjects do for the arts? I'd like to say, thank you to the math teacher for helping us in the arts build a future engineer. I'd like to thank an English teacher for helping us build a poet and a songwriter. I'd like to thank a science teacher for helping us build natural science and scientific illustrators. And the history teachers for helping us build architects. The arts matter. Now, I know this isn't the end of the line for the budget woes or every budget for the rest of our years. But I'd like to ask that from now on, every year, take cutting the arts off the table. Let's be like any highly intelligent and highly civilized culture. And in the future, when you go to the town, ask them to get creative with their budget. Oh, I used the word creative. Thank you.
Thank you. And is there anyone else that would like to make a comment tonight? Mr. Chandler, do you see anyone?
No, I don't have any hands up or anything else in chat at this point.
Okay, I don't want to cut anyone off that they wanted to speak. Okay, next item on the agenda is discussion and/or vote on certified, non-certified, non-renewal dismissal recommendations. I need a motion to, as the superintendent has asked, that it be tabled to May 28th. Do I have a motion to table that? Mr. Chandler, do you have everyone?
Motion to
Everybody should be
table.
Okay. So who made that? Mrs. Friedman?
Yep.
I have a motion from Mrs. Friedman. Mrs. Waters says they're shut off, Mike. Mr. Fiorello shut off. Mr.
Second.
Collins shut off.
Thanks,
There we
Mike.
go.
I'll second it.
Second by Mrs. Waters. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it 6-0. Please again note for the record that Mr. Salvatore is not present. Next item on discussion is discussion and/or vote on non-unit personnel G6 carryover of vacation days due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Mitchell, you had asked us last meeting that you would like the G6 personnel to be able to carry over their vacation days due to the pandemic where they were working in the district. And that is your recommendation that we carry it over.
Yes, it is, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I need a motion on the, to carry over the G6 to next year's school year. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to carry over the vacation days through the calendar year. And if need be, we can revisit in December.
Okay, Mr. Farrell makes a motion to carry it over for the calendar year and not the school year ending in December. Do I have a second?
I'm sorry, I'm
Hello?
not sure if I understood what Mr. Fiorello said.
Mr. Fiorello's, he makes a motion to approve, but the carryover would be through December of this year only, and not through the school calendar year.
And if situation arises, we could revisit it.
And if a situation
So-
arises, revisit. So,
Can I make a
Mr.
different motion?
well, we have a,
No.
we have a motion and we need a second on this one for discussion and/or it fails, the motion fails. So does anyone want to second Mr. Fiorello's motion? Seeing no one raising their hand or making the motion, that fails. So Mrs.
Wait, then Mr. Collins is still trying to have access.
Mike, could you give Mr. Collins access, please?
Mike, do I have to leave my mic on the whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make sure everybody, I have dogs too, so I don't want to. All right,
Okay,
fair
all
enough.
right. So Mrs. Friedman, you wanted to make a motion?
I was going to second, I'm sorry, you had asked to second Mr. Fiorello's
Fiorello.
motion to table it. And I was going to second his motion to table the,
No,
No, not the table. This, it would be a second to take a vote. So if you don't want to approve of his motion, then it would fail for the lack of a second. Hearing no one else, so Mrs. Friedman, you'd like to make a motion?
I make a motion to allow the non-unit personnel to carry over vacation days for the full year,
School year,
next school year. Yes.
okay? Do we have a second on this G6 carryover for the full school year?
I'll second it.
Mrs. Waters seconds it. Any discussion? I would just like to say I'm in support of carrying over for the full school year, and we don't know what's going to happen in the next 60 days, never mind 6 months with this pandemic. So I'm in full support. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it 6-0 with Mr. Salvatore not present at the meeting. Next is the second comments from the public. Do we have anyone that would like to speak at this time from the public? If they could raise their hand or some way of letting Mr. Chandler know so we can,
Got one hand up. I have one hand up. I just have to figure out who it is.
okay.
There's a lot of people in here. Looks like it's Mr. Pedro. So everybody should be able to open up. The mic issue should be straightened out now.
Mr. Pedro, you wanted to speak?
Dan Pedro, 136 Abbott Run Valley Road. You know, I've been hearing a little bit of chatter today on some decisions that might be coming through with layoffs. So I appreciate that you're tabling the action, hopefully for further discussion. And I will say this, our students in this coming school year are going to need more social emotional learning than ever. And I think that the teachers most qualified to do that are going to be your music, your art, your PE teachers that have known these kids as long as they've been in school and have been able to force a relationship with them, unlike the teacher that they're going to be meeting for the first time. I think it's important that we give these students a voice now more than ever, because they're going through a situation that none of us ever anticipated. And so we really need to take that all into consideration before making any drastic decisions that could impact the future of our children. I will keep my budgetary comments mostly to myself today, but in reviewing the budget that was sent to the town on Friday, I found in a matter of 5 minutes, one teacher's salary that that could be made up immediately, basically right off the top. So I will be reaching out to the school committee members this week to talk with them one-on-one. I have left messages for 2 members that haven't called me back yet. So I'll be anticipating those phone calls tomorrow or the next couple of days. And we can talk about that before the next meeting.
Mr. Pedro, if you've been reviewing the budget and you found a position that could be funded some other way, I'd appreciate that you would reach out to Mrs. Duncanson, the personnel director, to let her know, so maybe she can research it a little bit further, and you know, that way next week when we take a vote, you know, that could be a position that may have not been, you know, funded properly, and we can maybe recall another teacher. So if you would reach out to her, please, tomorrow.
I will. As soon as I make contact with my school committee member and those at large, I will do that. But thank you.
Thank you. All right, I did see Mrs. Ewick name pop up there, Mike.
Yes, she should be unmuted now.
Okay, go ahead, Mrs. Ewick. Hello.
Actually, this is Heather Bogosian, 320 Abbey Drive.
Okay.
I just had a comment to make about the vice principal position that you're cutting at community and BF, but you're adding the position to the high school. Community in itself has about half the kids in it, the total enrollment that the high school has, but you're gonna add another vice principal position to the high school when you have 2 vice principals of learning, 1 vice principal of pathways, you have a dean, but yet you're gonna leave community with no vice principal and BF with no vice principal, when the law with all the just changed, and now the principals have a lot more responsibility than they had, but you're taking that position away from the 2 elementary schools. So that's a concern for me, and I just want to voice my opinion. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Anyone else, Mr. Chandler, that you can see?
Not at this point, but if anybody does have anything they want to throw it in the chat quick, I can try to unmute you if you're having an issue. But
Okay.
at this point, I don't see anybody.
Okay, so if there's, wait a minute. All right, so it was a comment, that's all. All right, if there's no other public comment, I need a motion to adjourn at this time.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by who?
Collins.
Mr. Collins,
Oh.
seconded by, hold on.
Second,
Oh, I got another
Mr.
hand up. I don't know
Waters,
if it
right.
was too late or not.
No, it's never too late, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right,
Let me see.
this is Liz McDonald. I'm actually not speaking on behalf of myself, but Brendan Casey is trying to speak, and he just texted me and said he's blocked and he can't get his comment through. So I don't know if there's a way that you can unmute him so he's able to speak.
Do you,
Hold on.
Let's see. So he's unmuted on our side. Let's see. Try that. Brendan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
So Brendan Casey, health and phys ed teacher at the high school. I just wanted to say, I know there are a lot of tough decisions to be made here, but I think it just needs to be reiterated that the teachers in this town we're sacrificing just as much as anyone else. And we're doing our best to not only take care of our own families, but we're putting our own family time aside to take care of the families and the students of this town. And the fact that we can't be insured jobs at this time is, understand there's a public piece to it, but it is insulting to the people and the educators of this town who put so much energy into, and not just energy, but energy, care, and everything we have into these students. And to not be insured jobs during a time like this it's insulting, and it's a hard pill to swallow. So I know a lot of people are doing their best to ensure that we have these jobs, but it's just, I think it needs to be said that, we're doing our best here, and we're not only sacrificing our time, but we're sacrificing time with our family and our own kids to take care of the kids in this district. And I think that should be appreciated. And I think that we should do our best to ensure these people have jobs for their sacrifice they're making to this town. Thank you.
thank you. All right, Mike, was there anyone else? Otherwise, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. Well, I need to take a vote then. Mike, I need a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it 6-0. Thank you, everyone, and we'll be meeting next week on the 28th.